Uh, Good evening, everybody. My name is Sir Jude, and this is our final video lecture recap for second quarter because we will end our discussion with diverging or otherwise known as biconcave lenses. So a lot of you were worried and were scared, especially that sobrang bilis ng pacing ng second quarter. But thank God with the makeup classes, so that will allow us to review a lot for the upcoming periodical examination on December 1 to 2. Okay. So before we have our ray diagrams, I always ask you why certain lenses have possess a certain property. So bakit nga ba ang biconcave lenses ay tinatawag na diverging? So for the fourth time, we use our object smiley, which is placed infinitely away from the lens. And I always use four different colors of light to represent four different colors of solid lines to represent actual light rays. So once they strike the center of the lens, they start to bend or refract or diverge from one another, which is opposite of what happens when light strikes from biconvex lens or converging lens. So if you're wondering, sir, if the light rays are diverging, is it possible to form an image using biconcave lenses? So the answer is yes. So all we have to do is just extend these lines using imaginary lines and then connect them all together at the focus one. So, to answer the question why biconcave lenses are called diverging, that's because when an object is at infinity, the actual rays diverge, but the imaginary rays converge at f1. Okay. So, as you can see, no, we have a very short loss interpretation table for diverging biconcave lenses because iisa lang yung loss interpretation for cases 1 to 5. So this is the fifth and final time na naglo-loss na tayo, no? So dapat by this point, master na dapat kung paano hinahanap yung location, orientation, size, and type, as well as yung pagdrawing ng ating images. Okay, so for our first sample problem, a 12 centimeter tall Marquee number is 25 centimeters in front of a biconcave lens with a focus of 11 centimeters. Create the image and interpret its loss. So the first thing that we always do before we have our ray diagram is to determine the values of f and 2f. So because our focus is explicitly stated to be 11 centimeters, then therefore 2f, 2 times 11 will be 22 centimeters. So side, positive values are found on the right side of the lens, while negative values are found on the left side of the lens. So bakit negative yung left side ng lens? That's because that's where the imaginary light rays converge at focus 1, making the left side of the lens, all its values, to be negative accordingly. So I explained yesterday, no, that even though the underlined number 25 is positive here, we will still place our first object at the negative side because of the word front. So case 1, the object is beyond 2f1. And we have a very weird ray diagram here. So why is it weird? Because this is the first time that we have an intersection that is composed of one broken line and one solid line. Because normally the intersections are always either two solid lines or two broken lines. First time natin maka-encounter na ang nag-intersect na lines ay isang solid at isang broken. So how does it affect our loss interpretation? We will answer after case number 5. So here, this is probably the easiest drawing of image because all you have to do is just copy the object and reduce it to its size. And there you have it. Now, for case number 2, our object is placed 22 centimeters in front of the lens. So that is exactly at 2f1. So by performing the ray diagram, therefore, your second image will be placed right there, just between the f1 and the lens. Now, for case number three, wherein the marquee number is 17 centimeters in front of the lens. So we will place our third object between F1 and 2F1. And by performing the ray diagram, once again, our third image is formed between the lens and F1. Now, for case number four, wherein the object is 11 centimeters in front of the lens, no? That's exactly at focus one. So wait, when we discuss biconvex lens, case number four is special because its image is found at infinity, no? Because of parallel actual light rays. So let's find out if that will be the same case for case number four for biconcave lens. So by performing the ray diagram, uh, we have an image form exactly between the lens and F1, just like the first three um images. Okay. So final case, wherein the object is 9 centimeters in front of a biconcave lens. Our object number 5 is placed between the lens and F1. Normally, no, sa case number 5 nagkakaroon ng deviation compared to cases 1 to 3 and even case 4, no? So, as we found out earlier this morning, halos wala rin namang pinagbago when it comes to the image. It's always between the lens and F1. So as I mentioned, after we answered or after explained why biconcave lenses are called diverging, our loss interpretation for cases 1 to 5 are the same. No? So all images are found at the front side. No need to specify the exact location because all of them are literally found between F1 and the lens. Orientation, the image is exactly the same as the object, nagkaiba lang ng size. So that means our orientation is upright. For the size, the image is smaller compared to the object, so the size is reduced. And finally, for the type. Okay. So a lot of you are wondering what will be our final answer for the type because this is the first time that we have an intersection between one solid line and one broken line. So remember, no, we answer real if uh, two actual light rays intersected, while we answer virtual if two imaginary light rays intersected. So if you have one solid line and one broken line, which is a hybrid, no, technically a hybrid, the answer will still be virtual. The fact that we relied on imaginary lines or on broken lines, that means that the image was formed virtually. Okay, so to summarize, the image characteristics of uh, objects in front of a diverging or a biconcave lens. So all images are found at the front. All of them are upright. All of them are always reduced, and they are formed virtually. Okay. So finally, no, after our numerous ray diagrams and even loss interpretations, para saan nga ba ginagamit ang diverging or biconcave lenses? So I allowed you to play with our lens set this morning per group, no? We will have another session with that next week because I saw that you were enjoying and having fun with the lenses. No? So, saan pag ginagamit ang divergent lenses? So, first we have our cameras. Okay. Tapos we have our binoculars. We use cameras for taking pictures. We use binoculars so we can see objects that are far away from us. And I think another obvious one, I always use the most obvious, I mean, the most practical and most relatable objects for you, especially yung nagagamit nyo sa bahay. And yeah, the peephole is the best example for that because sa peephole na nakakabit sa ating mga doors, no? Some, hindi kasi common ang peephole sa lahat, no? Because the peephole allows us to see who knocks at our door without us actually having to open the door, no? So as you can see, pag sumilip ka sa peephole, no, the image is always reduced and it's always upright, just like what we had in our lost interpretation. All right, so that's all for this lesson, and that's all for second quarter. So please print page 6 of the handout that I gave you last week or 2 weeks ago for our performance task tomorrow. And then for those of you who are already juggling a lot and who are already overcome with information overload now with my subject, don't worry, we will dedicate our next week and the final week of November for your review for your upcoming mastery test and your second quarter examination. Till then, I am Sir Jude. Good evening and good night.